Welcome back to Unleashing You. Today, I speak with Katie Taft. Katie is a wardrobe stylist and designer who helps busy professionals show up authentically with ease and confidence. While in school for fashion design, she realized she had a passion for helping people gain the courage to pursue their dream lives, and it starts with dressing the part. Her goal with every styling session is to help her clients discover their personal style and how to elevate it so getting ready for any occasion becomes a stress-free and enjoyable experience. This podcast episode is like a chat between friends because that's exactly what it is. We talk about limiting beliefs, pursuing a creative career, and the upcoming Unleashing You retreat, which Katie will be attending. If you are ready to feel empowered to take on your dreams, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. Before we begin, I want to make sure that you have the Unleashing You retreat on your radar, because just the fact that you're tuning into this podcast means the Unleashing You retreat is right up your alley. The reason I created the Unleashing You retreat is because as women, we tend to look to everyone else for the answers. We somehow think that everyone else knows better than we do, when in reality, tapping into your own intuition is actually the key to living a happy and fulfilled life. And that's how I've created the career and life I have now, and what we'll teach you how to do during this retreat. An inner shift like this will leave you with tools that you'll use for the rest of your life. This retreat is so much more than a girls' trip. This is a transformation. If I've piqued your interest, I want to personally invite you to join us in Steamboat Springs, Colorado on September 19th through the 22nd. During our time together, we will go through coaching workshops and other deep personal development activities that will uncover aspects of yourself you never even knew. Work like this would take months or years to do on your own, and we're going to get you there in just a few short days. Not to mention, we'll be staying in a gorgeous mountain home, complete with a private chef, so you don't have to lift a finger. If you are ready for a pampering getaway where you can recharge your batteries and feed your soul, send me a message on Instagram or visit acrprofessionalcoaching.com to learn more and reserve your spot. Spots are very limited, so do not wait. And I'll see you in the mountains. Now, let's get on to today's show. Welcome to Unleashing You. This podcast is your permission slip to create success your way. I'm your host, Amanda Riffey, a certified success coach and female business leader who has climbed her way up the corporate ladder. I've been through burnout and back and found the tools to bring fun and enjoyment to my career while creating powerful results and leading in a way that feels authentic to me. This show brings you conversations with women just like you who have created massive success for themselves and are doing it in their own way. We'll hear about their personal journeys of growing their career while still prioritizing the things they love most. If you are ready to be challenged and encouraged to reach your next level, then buckle up, sister, because the road to dreamy success begins here. Let's dive in. Katie, I'm so excited to have you on Unleashing You. I feel like this has been a long time coming.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I've been super excited for this all week.
Good. Me too. Me too. And I feel like this conversation is just going to flow so naturally. You and I talk all the time. And this is like literally just like conversations we have when we're not recording. So.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. So for those who don't know you, give us a backstory on you. Like, what's your story? What's your career journey been so far? Tell us about the business you have today. Like, give us all the info on Katie.
Yeah, so I am a stylist and designer. I've always wanted to do that like my entire life. When I graduated high school, I immediately went into corporate America because that's just what I felt like I was supposed to do. I have a family that's very conservative with a lot of military, doctors, lawyers. Like going into a creative career never really seemed like an option, but I just knew that that's what I always wanted to do. So as soon as I graduated high school, went and got a job at actually an engineering company doing like executive assistant work, like in their operations department, and just knew while I liked my job, it wasn't what I wanted to be doing forever. So I was there for about 3 years, applied for fashion design school in Denver. This was in Colorado Springs. So applied for fashion design school in Denver and got in and moved up to Denver. And just, I feel like my life just like started then because I really just started like from the first day of being at fashion design school. I remember walking around the halls and hearing people like making music and looking into the windows and seeing people doing all their art and just like doing all of this really creative stuff. And I just remember thinking like, yes, this is where I need to be. This is so cool. This is like, I just feel in my element. So I went to fashion design school, graduated in 2018, started out with a small online bridal boutique, realized that bridal wasn't really my full passion in life. I still like doing some bridal, but just wasn't what I wanted to be doing like full time. And since then, I've also been working, a corporate job. So that has been great to be able to kind of continue making money and supporting myself while I'm getting to dive into all of my passions. So now my biggest thing that I'm doing is styling. That's something that I started when I was in school, realized that I loved it, and I never really stopped. So I think that some of the other things that I've wanted to explore have kind of just like fallen to the wayside while I've been pursuing styling, and I just realized that I loved it. So I love styling for like business casual, like your corporate girlies, your entrepreneur ladies, like love that. That is totally my jam. And I'm really just excited that I've gotten to meet a lot of great people through that passion of mine. So yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And you and I have so much in common, especially when it comes to, the corporate side while also following your passions and finding that really beautiful mix of the two. And I know we're going to dig into that a little bit more. But before we do, I want to hit on something that you and I have talked about before. And I think that this will resonate with so many people, especially when we have, that passion for a creative type of career. And I know you have said before that there was a point in your life where you would have loved to have a creative career, but a part of you thought that you would be broke if you followed that passion. And obviously that is not the truth. That was probably a limiting belief. But walk us through that story, like what you told yourself at that time, and then how did you overcome that?
Yeah. So like I said, coming from a super conservative family, nobody in my family is like a small business owner or like a super like creative type. I mean, on my dad's side, I have a few like aunts and my grandma who are into like theater but they kind of do the more like back end sort of like businessy part of it. So I don't think that there's anyone in my immediate family that I really have seen thrive and just be having this amazing super creative career. So I just didn't think, and there was nobody that I really, like looked up to growing up that had this amazing creative career who was like a small business entrepreneur who, was doing anything super creative that they were super successful with. So I just never really think that I saw it as an example. I had a lot of amazing people to look up to in my life who were military, who were, went into education. A lot of people in my family have like a master's degree. Like going the more traditional conservative route was very much the norm in my family and just in my circle. So it never really seemed like that was something that seemed like a possibility. So when I did get that first corporate job, I thought, I'm going to move up the corporate ladder and this is going to be great. And, I'm going to be in a like high level operations role in a few years. Like this is what I want to be doing. And I just also thought that that was really the only way to make money because I didn't have anyone in my life who I looked up to who was in a creative career, who was like not, broke and just like couch surfing. So really, I just didn't know that that was an option. It always kind of seemed like that was like the fairy tale dream, like saying like, I want to be an astronaut or like, I want to be like something that is such a small percentage of people truly do. You know, little kids are like, oh, I want to do this, but it just doesn't seem like something that's real. So when I got into fashion design school, I was like, oh, this is this is real. Like I actually can do this. And it just seemed so crazy. I mean, walking around in the halls on my first day thinking people actually do this like for real and they make a living and like they're not homeless. Like this is real. Like this can actually happen. So I think that there was a big turning point in my mind where, you know, I was working in that first corporate job and I was just like, regardless of the money, I know that I'm not going to be fulfilled if I'm not doing what I truly want to be doing. And I think that there's a way to make money on almost anything that you are passionate about and that you like to do. And you just kind of need to have the business acumen to kind of monetize it. But I think that it just never seemed like a possibility before. But I'm not upset at the path that I took or anything. I mean, I started out wanting to get a business degree, got my associates, and took a bunch of college courses in on the business track. And I think that that prepared me for what I'm doing now because it kind of showed me like, these are the things that you need to do to have a successful business, but then you have to have the creative side to do what you're doing. So it was just kind of a turning point, I think, in my mind as I continued to grow and I continued to like evolve internally, realizing that I could do this.
And one thing I'm so glad that you said it's funny because it popped in my head almost right before you said it too, of that you can make money at almost anything. And there was definitely a point in my life where I did not believe that. And I think the same in what you were saying too. But, you know, going through coaching, going through, you know, different tools and mindset work, and then really being able to see the possibilities for ourselves. I think so often we have ourselves in a box without even realizing it. And, you know, I talk about in my corporate career of being at a point where I was like, oh, well, okay, I'm ready for more. So do I want my boss's job? Do I want the job at this department? Like that was really all I could see was just those immediate opportunities. And that felt like those were all of my opportunities until I came across coaching, got a coach, got coached myself. And then, you know, within a 3-month span, I had completely changed my career trajectory. And now I dream of speaking on big stages and I'm running retreats and, you know, doing all of these things. And I mean, you would ask 2 years ago, Amanda, and be like, heck no, that is not something that we are doing. The other thing that I wanted to hit on that you mentioned was just that representation. And even if you think of the way, you know, the societal messaging, you know, like you hear the term starving artist or struggling musician or struggling actor or, you know, things like that. It's like it's been programmed in our brains that creative careers mean struggle. And I think that's also, you know, you could say that with entrepreneurship or owning your own business as well. But I think especially with creative careers that there just wasn't that representation. And like you said, it was like maybe like 0.5% of people, you know, are the Brad Pitts of the world or the whoever's that make it to celebrity status. But that doesn't mean that having a creative career or following your passion has to be a struggle. Any thoughts on that?
I think that there's a lot that goes into that. It's being creative and being a woman. I mean, like there's a lot of different things that I think that kind of have told us like you need to be in this certain box, you need to do. And even today, I mean, this was like I'm thinking back to like 10 years ago when I was in college thinking like, okay, like what am I going to do? And I remember, so I've had a lot of very successful females to look up to who have been amazing in kind of helping me develop like who I want to be and just like what my leadership style is and stuff like that. So that's been amazing. I remember the CEO of the first company that I worked for was a woman and a lot of my former bosses had been women. Like it was just like I was constantly surrounded by really powerful, like empowered women. So that was amazing. But I noticed that a lot of them weren't doing creative stuff. And I think that that's where I kind of saw this gap women can now be super successful, but we have to be doing something that's like still the traditional path. So I think that there was still that gap. But in 2015, I competed for Miss Colorado. That was a really interesting experience that I learned a lot from. But basically, I think from that, I learned that there were so many awesome women that I competed with that were all doing something different. And some of them had creative stuff. Some of them had, like, were going for their doctorates. Some of them were truly just like artists. Some of them were going into like legal fields. Like, they were all doing something totally different. And they all were so successful in their own right. And I think that even though in that kind of competition, it's really easy to compare yourself and be like, oh, this person is this, that. You see everyone succeeding kind of in their own way. And I think that that kind of gave me a little bit of the confidence to be like, okay, I can succeed in my own way too. And that turned out me being creative and just kind of going that route. And so I think that I hope to think that, I'm kind of paving the way on my own for that, just because now that I do have some creative influences who are successful and I can look up to, I am very happy to be like, I paved this way for myself and I'm figuring it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that you are paving the way. And I think that
Thank you.
you are impacting other women and aspiring entrepreneurs, even just through this conversation, for sure.
Thank you. And that's what I want to do. I mean, truly, my goal with my business, with really everything that I do, is to just be a friend, to be an educator, to be, that person that is like your hype woman. You're the person that you can go to for some empowerment, some encouragement. So really in everything that I do, like, that's who I want to be. And I know that I've had the people that I looked up to, former bosses, people who I've looked up to, or I learned something from them because I didn't like their management style. Those are all things that have kind of shaped the way that I now want to be. And I'm really grateful for all of those experiences, whether at the time I knew that it was good or bad.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see it when you're in it. And they always say that hindsight is 20/20, right? It really is. You can see things from a totally different lens.
It totally is. And a lot of the reason that I like to do styling now and just some of my approach to that is from things that I felt were not the most positive things while they were happening. But now I'm like, oh, well, got a story now. So this is where it is.
Right? It either becomes part of your story or there's something that is on the other side of that wouldn't have been there otherwise. I completely believe in that. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. I wanted to quickly interrupt to invite you to experience the power of coaching on demand. I've packaged up some of my favorite coaching tools and sharing access with you for free. Would you love to discover who you truly want to become 10 years from today, or work through limiting beliefs that have been holding you back from your next level of success? Send me a message on Instagram or click the link in the show notes to access your free coaching tools. Your road to dreamy success begins here. Now, back to the episode. One other thing I want to talk to you about, and, a lot of people think like, okay, if I'm going to start my own business, like, all right, then that means I need to quit my job. I need to do this. I need to do that. Or, really short-term goal, their goal is to go all in on their business. And it's a struggle to kind of balance both. And you now have 2 jobs that you love, and it actually feels really good for you. So what made that feel like the right path for you right now?
So when I graduated design school, I knew, like, it's going to take some time for me to build the business that I want to build in a way that feels good to me. So, and I need to make money while I'm doing that. So first, the kind of goal was, okay, I'm going to work for maybe like a year or so, and then I'm going to be building my business while I'm doing that. And pretty much from day one, I mean, even while I was in school, I was doing a ton of styling and alterations for people. And I was doing custom design. Like I was really doing like everything because I was like, I'm so interested in this and I just want to jump into it with both feet. So really from day one, as soon as I graduated design school, I knew, okay, I'm going to start this. So really I graduated in December 2018 and had my first clients by January of 2019. Like I wasted zero time. And it has been really great so far. I mean, I had a few different jobs that some of them I liked better than others, but right now I'm in a job that I love. I'm the director of operations for a recruiting company and I absolutely love it. I'm also loving that I am able to do all of my creative stuff on the side and that my schedule is flexible enough. And I've really just found my place. And I think that that's something that is it's hard to wait for because you think like, as soon as you graduate, oh, I want to be able to. I mean, when I was in school, the first year in school, I was like, I'm never going to have a corporate job again. Like I should, I'm going to go get a bunch of tattoos all over my neck and hands. I did not care, literally. And I still have no tattoos on my neck and hands, by the way. But I just thought like, I'm going to be in a position where like, it doesn't matter. Glad that I didn't do that because now, I am still in a corporate job, but I am proud of myself for pushing through some of those jobs that I didn't love and just waiting to kind of find my place. And I think that there's a lot to be said for just trusting the process and realizing that you're not 100% in control of everything and that that's okay. And as long as you're doing your best and fighting for what you still like to do, then things will fall into place and you don't have to have it all figured out right when you graduate or right when you're ready. And there was something that I heard the other day that was pretty interesting because you mentioned this people might be wanting to start a side hustle or a new career, or like they might be wanting to start something else. The thing that I heard the other day was if you start when you feel ready, you've waited too long. And that's so true because I was not ready when I started at all. I was literally just floating in the wind, like just trying to figure it out. I think my first few alterations that I did for people, I did like $10 hems, like stuff that like is just not even, that's like not worth the time at all. But I just need to get into this however I can. And I just jumped in and really never stopped. So I don't think that there's like a right or wrong path. I think that you just have to start.
Yes. And I mean, we talk about my tattoo on my arm all the time of feel the fear and do it anyway. And that is the exact reason why I got that as a reminder for me, because previous version of me was definitely the prepare, learn. And when you feel super confident, then you can take action because you know you're going to be successful at it. And that is not the way that it works. And the minute that I changed that and just started doing things scared, started doing things way before I felt ready to do it, to the outside, they might be like, oh, you look super confident. She's totally ready and knows what she's doing. And then, and you know that feeling, like then on the inside, you're like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
you're freaked out. But it's worth it because I think about, your results, my results, the things that we've been able to create by doing it scared and doing it before we feel ready. I mean, we would never have the businesses or the impact that we have today without that. So I love that you added that in there because, yeah, you're never going to feel ready. The other thing that I just read in Secrets of Six-Figure Women by Barbara Stanny, there's a quote in there that says, get in the game and stay in the game. So I love you said like you just got in and you haven't stopped. You just continue to take that aligned action. And that to me is like our success is inevitable when we do that. Just don't quit on yourself. Keep that consistency. Not saying like work yourself into the ground. I know both you and I really prioritize self-care as well. And you even said like building a business in the way that you wanted to build it. But we also have to have that resiliency to be able to push through when things feel uncomfortable and hard and keep going.
Yes. The resiliency and the power of pivoting has been really important because even though I haven't stopped, I have pivoted a lot. When I started my business, I was offering really everything that I felt drawn to in any way. Custom design. I was doing my bridal boutique. I was doing styling. I was doing photo shoot styling, sewing lessons, alterations, like anything that I could get my hands on to keep me in the game. I was like, yes, I'll do it. And then I did some custom designs and I was like, okay, not for me, not going to continue doing this. So I dropped that service. I still dabble in some sewing lessons, but it's not like a huge part of my business. So that's been something that, I've kind of had a pivot in. I'm still pivoting. I just dropped doing alterations for general alterations. So I'm still altering things for my styling clients, but it's not a general service anymore. So I'm still pivoting and finding things that I'm liking doing. And there's still a million things that I'm interested in that I haven't even touched yet that I'm really excited for. And it's just crazy to think like I'm really doing what I had dreamed of. 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh my gosh, we're doing this. Like you're a stylist and you have clients and you go into people's houses and help them choose what to wear and you direct them and like you get to style photo shoots and you like that would have been mind blowing to me. And now in the spot that I'm in now in life, I'm like, I have a whole new set of dreams that is like so far above anything that I had ever even imagined at that time, just because I've been resilient and I've been open to pivoting and I've been open to just following what feels good to me and listening to myself and just being open to the process and being open to new creative outlets. And it's been great. And somebody who I really admire told me, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I was like, okay, I've said yes to a lot of things that I wasn't super into because I was just trying, but I'm really trying to now listen to that and think, okay, what is a hell yes to me so that I can put my time, my energy, my money into those things so that I can be more aligned and I just continue to be on that path of where I want to go.
Yes. I have to live by that too, especially as a recovering people pleaser.
Same.
Which I think many of us are. Yes. Being like, oh yeah, I feel like I should do that. Okay, I got to say yes to this, or I don't want to let that person down. And that's when we start prioritizing everyone else over ourselves. And you have to take control of your time and your energy. And so, yes, I love putting things through that filter of if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And just going with it. And then you really can show up as the best version of you for whatever it is that you say yes to, whether that's your family, your business, that vacation, right? Whatever the thing is, you can show up wholeheartedly because you're not overstretched and your time and energy isn't trying to compete with too many things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's such a perfect segue to my next question around saying hell yes. So you and I connected right before Unleashing You live for the first time.
And it was amazing.
Oh,
Yes, that was such a good event. You killed it.
Thank you. Thank you. And you were one of the incredible sponsors. And, I know you had money off for your wardrobe styling and all of that kind of stuff for that event. And then you were also one of the very first people to say, hell yes, I'm going to the Unleashing You retreat as well.
Yes, I'm so excited for it. I've been wanting to go on a retreat for forever. And I mean, really like over the past 2 years, I've been putting so much more time and energy into my business and just doing things so much more intentionally and saying like, okay, if this is the life that I want, I need to start moving like I'm having the life that I want. And I think that that's when I've started to try to say no to more things that don't kind of set me on fire and yes to things that do. And immediately when you brought up the slide about the retreat, I was like, yes, like hell yes, like this is a hell yes. Because I loved your energy. I was so drawn to like what your message was and what you were doing. And I was like, you're so interested in truly helping women succeed and just get to that next level. And it wasn't like a money grab. It wasn't, I mean, you let me come to your event for free. Like it was like, I did not plan on going there and, dropping a couple grand on anything. But as soon as you mentioned that, I was like, this is a hell yes. And I think that that's just what we all want, is to have people around us that are just as excited about what we're doing as we are and who are on the hell yes journey with us. And yeah, as soon as you pulled that up, I was like literally like about to get out of my seat and go over to the table because you were like, oh, you can go sign up with, whoever you had helping. And I was like, I'm just going to get up and go put down my deposit and just do this because like this is already a hell yes. But it ended up being, I realized that it was on my anniversary weekend. And I was like, I should probably run this by my husband to make sure that like, this is okay that I am missing our 3-year anniversary for this. But when I was talking to him about it, I was like, hey, like I really want to go on this retreat. It's over our anniversary weekend. So I just want to make sure that like, you're okay with that. And first he was like, oh, well, like that kind of sucks that you're going to miss that. And I was just like, well, we could, like, if you really don't want me to, like, it's fine. I don't need to go. And I think kind of saw that I was like a little sad about it. I was like, I really wanted to go. And I think that if I had not been that excited for it, I would have just been like, it's fine. The timing didn't work out. But I think that he saw that I was like really wanting to go to this. And he was like, you should go. If you really want to go, we can celebrate the next week. Like, it's fine. Like, you should go. And I was immediately like, cool, booked. And we were literally at dinner and I like sent you a message and I was like, okay, I'm going to your retreat. Like, let's do this now. So it was, yeah, that was a hell yes moment for sure.
I love that story, especially because that to me is just such a great example of how to advocate for yourself in your relationships, in whatever it might be, of you knew in your heart, like, this is truly something that I want to do that's going to make an impact for me. I don't know exactly all the, details and the how and what's going to happen, but I just know that this is the next right step for me. And typically never going to be ideal timing. It's never going to be ideal financially, right? There's going to be all of these reasons why we could say no or stop ourselves from it. And at each point in that process, you're like, well, I wasn't planning on spending that money today, but I have that feeling. I can see the value. I can see the return I'm going to get from that in my life and in my business. And then even you're like, timing, not ideal. It's our anniversary. And, you had that conversation, with your partner of like, hey, how can we make this work? And so instead you're going to still celebrate your anniversary in a beautiful way. And you're just going to do it on a slightly different day, and so often we would have given up at the very first roadblock and you just continued to go through. And then you're like, yep, signed, done. I'm in. Let's do this.
Yes, exactly. And that was just, yeah, as soon as you brought up that slide, I was like, this looks awesome. I'm so excited for this. And I just love being around like other empowering women who are just wanting to lift themselves up, lift other people up. Like those are my people. So I was like, okay, yes, I want to be a part of this. I want to do this. And I've been investing so much in my business, just time, energy, money wise, that I was like, this is another investment in me and you'll never regret an investment in yourself. And I was like, this is an investment in me. This is an investment in my growth, in my business's growth, in my future dreams and what I want to be doing and how I show up for other people and my clients. And at the time, I even thought like, oh my gosh, like I need to do some more work on my business before I'm ready to go on a retreat because I haven't quite hashed out like what my next 5-year plan is or like, whatever I'm doing. And then the thought that kind of came back was if you start when you're feeling ready, you've started too late. And I was like, okay, I need to start not ready. So,
yes.
And so I was just like, all right, let's do this. This is the year we are investing in ourselves. We are manifesting our dreams. We are reaching for the things. We are saying hell yes to the things that align. Like this is it.
Yeah. And you'll never regret an investment in yourself. I love that.
Yes, never.
Okay. So people are listening to this. Maybe they're like, heck yes, I'm coming to the retreat too, which would be fantastic. You can chat with Katie and I in person.
Yeah. Tell them they can give me my roomie. I'll give them a ton of wardrobe styling tips. We'll be BFFs.
There you go. You heard it here first. You can
Yes.
get some styling at the retreat. We'll add that on.
I will style you all weekend if you come be my roomie.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. So where outside of the retreat, where can people find you? They want to connect with you, let's say before September. How can they find you?
Yeah. So you can go to my website, ktwardrobestyling.com. I'm also on Instagram, ktwardrobestyling. And I'm most active, I would say, on Instagram. My Facebook is same handle, but not as much going on there. So Instagram is best. And also you can just like reach out to me, text me. Like I love going to coffee with people and just getting to know people, just getting on each other's good vibes. Like that's cool. Yes.
Absolutely. And I know for anyone listening, you really mean that. Like you will chat with anyone in the DMs. You will have any kind of conversation because like you said, like you are the ultimate hype woman, want to empower each other, want to grow alongside each other. And I think that's why you and I, just blend so well together because I know we have very similar visions with that. So Katie, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I love chatting with you. And I'm really excited to continue this conversation on the retreat in September.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. If anyone's on the fence about going, they should just go because it's an investment in yourself.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Katie. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you'd like to continue this conversation, connect with me on Instagram and say hello. You can find me at AmandaRiffy_coaching. In the meantime, if you are ready to step into the next incredible version of you and want to completely accelerate your personal and professional growth, let's work together. I offer one-on-one private coaching as well as workshops and in-person events. There's really something for everyone. To learn more, visit my website at acrprofessionalcoaching.com or send me a DM on Instagram and start a conversation. And don't worry, I truly want all of us to succeed. So I promise I will never steer you wrong. Let's create a career and life you love. Chat with you again soon.